Talk is cheap, and Saudi Arabia called Justin Trudeau's bluff. They understood that Trudeau just likes to come out and say things about human rights and all this stuff, but in reality, he doesn't care because actions speak louder than words. If you don't like what a country is doing, you put sanctions on them and you stop doing trade with them. But Trudeau right now, he's trying to repair relations with Saudi Arabia, and at this point, now that all is said and done, we shouldn't repair relations. We shouldn't apologize because that's going to make us look even weaker on the world stage than we already do. They called Trudeau's bluff, and they understood that nobody was going to back him. The US, the UK hasn't backed them. Jordan is backing Saudi Arabia, even though we invested a bunch of money in their economy. Literally nobody is standing with Canada with this because, a lot of them do buy shit from Saudi Arabia. But it's like, if you want to be smart, I'm not saying you can't criticize foreign governments. Of course you can, and you should. But you don't want to be necessarily tied in with them and have them have a leverage on you when you do come out and criticize them. It's like if you're working for somebody and they're a real dick and they're a shitty boss, they treat you like shit, but you need this job to pay your bills for the time being. And then would it be smart to not find a new job and come out and call him a retard, and an idiot, and a piece of shit, even though you're justified in calling him out because he has been abusing you and treating you like shit? It's not a smart thing to do because now you're going to be out of your job and you won't be able to pay your rent for the next couple months. And you'll have to scramble to try to find a new employer. So what smart people do is when they want to, call out their boss, call out somebody who is paying them or who they are somewhat dependent upon, they go and they make sure they become dependent or independent, right? So then you go, you find a new job that pays you more, that treats you better. Then you go back to your boss and you say, hey, you're a piece of shit. Fuck you. You can say whatever you want. But, this is the way we did it. And now they knew they had the leverage on us, and they're doing all of this. So at this point, we can't apologize. And Trudeau, he's trying to repair relations, which just kind of goes against his stance already that he cares about human rights. Because if he did, he would stop trading with them entirely, and he would retaliate with tariffs of his own. He would retaliate by stop buying Saudi oil and start, telling people to buy Canadian oil. He would actually start investing in our own industries. They would reopen the pipelines that they keep fucking up. If we just made Canada energy sufficient or energy independent, then we could say whatever the fuck we want about anybody. So all these people in my comments like, oh, you don't care about human rights, you don't care about this. It's like you're all fucking retards, and you missed the whole point of my video. The point of my video was, why isn't he calling out a Canadian citizen in Germany who is facing 5 years in prison for hate speech laws, denying the Holocaust? Why isn't he calling out that? Why isn't he calling out, Iran? Why isn't he calling out Hamas? Why isn't he calling out China? Why isn't he calling out all of these other nations who are also imprisoning their people unjustifiably or for stupid reasons for hate speech laws? Why is he being so fucking selective, right? And why is he trying to repair the diplomacy between these countries? Him groveling and saying he's sorry is just going to make us look so fucking weak. And all these countries see this is why they think Canada is a joke now. Like, we have no leverage when we go and bargain with any country now, and everybody fucking sees it. So one of our only options now is to start being more independent. But is Trudeau going to do that? No. Is he going to start promoting our energy and promoting our oil to sell it overseas and to export it? No, he's not going to do that. So, I don't know what he's going to do. He's probably going to end up apologizing or some shit, which I don't want him to do at this point. It's like we shouldn't be trading with them. But like I said, we have coupled ourselves with them, and now a bunch of people and a bunch of money and a bunch of people's jobs are at stake, and they're probably going to lose their jobs. So for their sake, this is why your government, before you come out and say stupid stuff and hoping people don't call you on your bluff, you make sure you have other markets lined up for them to come out and work instead. So now we're gonna miss, I don't know, lose something like $500 million a year for these universities, and which helps support like something like 170,000 different jobs. So that is real world consequences. So if you are gonna call out governments, which I think we got to make sure we're not tied in with them. We got to make sure they don't have leverage on us, because this is what happens. So hopefully this is a lesson for people. And another thing is, there was just an attack in Yemen today where a bunch of kids on a bus were killed by, a Saudi Arabian airstrike. Has the Canadian government come out and called this out yet? No, they haven't, right? If they truly cared about human rights, they wouldn't just speak about this one little case, but they're pretty fucking silent on this, right? So this just proves to you they don't care. All they want to do is virtue signal. That's why I'm not standing behind Trudeau 100%, blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, in retrospect, this could be beneficial for Canada if Trudeau takes advantage of it, but he won't. He's gonna grovel, and then we're not gonna have the moral high ground that he so desperately wants, because he's gonna come apologize with a tail between his legs, and then you're still trading with this country. So that just proves that you don't care. Actions speak louder than words. Okay, so I know. A lot of people are thinking I was defending Saudi Arabia, but no, I wasn't. I just have an issue with the way our trade is being handled, and just the lack of strategy. And what I was saying about Trump, I'm not saying say nice things about dictators or whatever, but you saw the way Trump handled Kim Jong-un on Twitter. He used a stick and a carrot. He called him like Little Rocket Man, all this shit. And then once he had him in the negotiating table, then he started being, more cordial, and he wasn't saying the same shit, because, he finally got him to the fucking table to speak. So at that point, if you go out and start insulting them or trying to criticize their country, you're going to sour the relations, right? So it's just poor strategy. They thought that they could get away with this, and I'm not saying what them calling out a human rights violation or whatever is wrong. I'm not saying it is. But when there's other Canadians facing prison time in Germany and you're silent about it, that's bullshit. Like actual Canadian citizens. I'm sorry, but I care more about Canadian citizens than I care about Saudi Arabians. So at the very least, if you're going to sour relations, let's do it for a good reason, because we have an actual citizen trapped in our country. Or if you're going to do it with Saudi Arabia, make sure, like I said, we have other buyers. Make sure we're not dependent upon them for oil or buying this, because now, they can do whatever they want. They could raise the price potentially and be like, well, you still got to buy from us, even though you're not getting anything from them. Right? So, why isn't Trudeau retaliating with tariffs? This just shows you that he doesn't give a shit. I know I'm repeating myself, but, this doesn't do anything. Coming out and saying a few words doesn't mean you care. Actions speak louder. But, that's all I pretty much had to say. If you like my content, subscribe. Have a good day and take it easy.